Sanmarani, good morning. Woo! What a speed hump. Guys, I'm doing this live and I'm driving because, wow. Hey, Guningi. Have you ever thought about our families, guys? Semakaya, like families that are left behind at home while you are busy churching, and you have neglected them because when you no longer attend family events, when you no longer attend family funerals, when you no longer attend anything because you are busy churching. Have we ever, we need to have a conversation about that. Most of the time it's about the church is wrong, the church is this, the church is that. Okay. I personally, I'm not against people's beliefs, what they believe in, whether they eat frogs or grass or mosquitoes or whatever, or whichever God they pray into or to. That's not the point. I'm saying, what about a mother or a family that is in distress because one of their family members does not attend family funerals, does not attend family functions, does not attend anything that has to do with the family because this family member is too busy at church. This family member, Monday to Monday is at church. You know, when there's a death in the family member is not available. When there's a funeral in the family member is not available. What then do we as a society say about such a dilemma? You know, because we tend to not really talk about that. You know, there are families today where when people ask, where is so-and-so? Where is so-and-so? I'll make an example maybe with me. Family members would ask her, where is she? And it would always be, she's at church. She's staying at church. Or the family would be sometimes embarrassed to say where I am, right? But what about a mother who is home and is in distress because her son has possibly started going to this new church and has subsequently left home because at the new church he's now been given a position of being a bodyguard or the head usher or the best prayer warrior, and now they subsequently staying at the church, and them subsequently staying at the church is now making them unavailable for the family. What about that family who says, our child is alive, or our mother is alive, or our husband is alive, but we hardly see them because they're always at church? The only evidence that tells us that they are home is when we see Uguti, or the face cloth is wet, meaning they arrived, they took a shower, they took a bath, and they left. Or the only evidence that shows us or tells us that they're home is when there's fresh food on the pot, on the stove. Oh, she came home, she cooked and she left. But they don't see this person. What do we say about those families? Maybe I'm talking to you and you are going through that, where a family member of yours no longer has time for your family. A family member of yours no longer has time to spend with your family. They are always at church. When there are funerals, they're at church. They either having prayer service or deliverance service or Googling service, whatever it is. When there was weddings, they don't attend. They don't attend nothing. Absolutely nothing. How do you feel if it's you? Really, really, how do you feel? Let's unpack it. How do you feel? I mean, in my case, it's mine, we can't resolve it. My mom is at her church, and she gave me and my children a protection order 4 years ago, before my daughter had been passed on. So there's no form of reconciliation that can happen, because hey, protection order has told me to stay away. So that is why I say I'm an orphan, because yes, my father passed on, but it's as good as my mom has also passed on, because I don't see her. What are you, a Sikha? Are you going through the same thing, or you know someone that's going through something? Guys, I think I'm just pondering on this as I'm driving, to say this life is not make sure. This life is not fair. We are facing battles, challenges that are unexplainable. You know, what happened to when we grew up, we went to normal churches. I'm not going to say in churches now are abnormal, please. But what happened to when we grew up, we went to churches like Lutheran, Anglican, Nazarene, Assemblies of God, you know, like where you were required to be at church only on a Sunday for the service. And if there were any church activities, it would be maybe a prayer session for the mothers or a youth something. But the church never required you to be there 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, where you were there all the time. Just a thought, just thinking, I'm pondering on it, and I'm hoping that somebody is watching me and thinking, yo, Sihle, I am going through that. I have a sister or I have a brother who is stuck in a church somewhere. Not stuck, who is just in a church and they just believe that they don't want to see us because we are now demons according to their teachings or whatever they taught at church. Or maybe you are the one that's sitting down there and saying, yo, Sihle, if only you knew, I'm married, but I hardly see my husband because my husband is the bodyguard of the pastor, the prophet, the papa. So as a result, we as a family don't get to enjoy his warmth anymore. We don't get to see him, you know. Maybe you are looking at me now and you're saying, yo, Sihle, I am that mother where my child has literally literally has no time for the family. They go to work during the week. Weekends they are always at church because they are possibly the head choir master or the head usher. And when there are funerals, weddings, or any family events, they are hardly there. They are not there. You literally have to beg for their affection and time with you. This is something to ponder on, guys. Like, you know, like we're living in times where people have choices, yes, and people have free will, yes. But I do not subscribe to the notion that when you have joined a church, you must now completely isolate your family from you or isolate yourself from your family. I don't believe in the notion that when you've joined a church, you should no longer have time for your family members. You should no longer attend family functions, family funerals. I do not believe in that notion. Yes, there is a God. Yes, we need to go to church. Yes, we need to congregate together as believers. But I do not believe in the notion that 365 days a year, 24 hours, you are in a church. Your mother dies, your father dies, your family members die, and you don't attend because at church you believe let the dead bury the dead, or you just have completely isolated yourself from your family, or the church has isolated you. The issue here is, what about the family that's left behind at home? The family that says, yeah, we're not against your belief, we're not against your church, we're not against whether you believe in frogs or whatever you believe in, we're not against it. But all we're asking for is time. All we're asking is, please give us your time. Give us your time. Like, in the midst of you going to work, in the midst of you being busy and churching and being a leader at church and being whatever, please give us your time. You know, give us your time. We are asking just for your time. Please give us your time. Why can't you do that? But when pastor or prophet or daddy or papa or whoever that's a leader of yours at church calls, you're able to drop everything and run and go there. But you can't do that for people that gave birth to you, or you can't do that for your siblings, or you can't do that for your family members. It's a lot, guys. Go roughest, and I just thought, no, man, let me just start this provocative conversation. Think about it, ponder on it. I think I'll get back and continue talking about it later this night to say, guys, must totally, like, I want to engage, like, like, let's just engage and let's just talk and let's just find ukuthi kwenzakalani, like, how then? Or are you gonna be in that church until you die? Then the only time your family will get to enjoy you is when the family phones to say, hey, come and fetch your child. Your child has now passed away, and yet you have never had time for your family. Or the only time your family will enjoy you is when you have passed away, the church will not bury you, and you must now, your family must run around looking for, they must hire pastors, they must run around looking for venues and places to host your funeral service, because the church that you so gave your life to and stayed away from your home from does not bury you, and they will not bury you. Alright, guys, let's ponder on it. Maybe so kuluma later tonight. Maybe about 6, 7. So would say I guess Scotland, guys, like suka kwenze njani, you know. Suka kwenze njani ngempela ngompela. Yeah, Umbale, that's looking forward to it. Have a beautiful day. Thank you, Umbale. Hope you're having a good day. Unele at yours, that's a serious matter. It is a serious matter, Nelly, because Mosushonile, like your family, Bagzalile, you've got siblings, you've got aunts, grandfathers, and then when there are funerals, you're never available when upizu sesondweni. Magnemi ngwabo, magnemi shato, magna graduation, magna anything that has to do with the family. Aunas katse family, your time and everything is invested for the church. So my question here is, I'm not against your church, I'm not against what you believe in, trust me. I'm just now sitting here thinking, as a mother or a parent or a sister or an uncle or a family member, if you have a child or a relative who doesn't have time for you, doesn't come to family functions because their mind and everything about them is glued onto the church, how are you feeling? How are you feeling? You've tried making contact. You've tried trying to make them reason, but they're telling you they are born of the world, but they are not of the world. So everything, their life, everything about them is church. How does that make you feel as a parent? Like, I believe God is a faithful God, and I believe God is not a cruel God. I believe God is not a God that separates families. God is not a God that wants to separate families and cause division. You know, that is why he says you are the church, and church is a place of congregation where we should congregate together as believers. But now, when we join a church or a family member joins a church, then the next thing, they pack their bags and they stay full-time at the church. They no longer have time for the family, or even if they haven't packed their bags, they still stay at home, but they don't have time for the family, because during the week it's either they're up going to work or going to school, and then weekends, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you will never see them, because Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it's either it's youth, it's prayer warrior, it's discipleship, it's Bible study, it's whatever it is. You don't get to see them at all. So whether they are weddings, graduations, family events, you will never get to see them. Food for thought, ne guys, ne? It's one of those conversations that most people are afraid to talk about. And we are not being against people's beliefs and the church, guys. Never is not. Mina, I'm just saying, think about that mom, that dad, that family who is saying, we miss you, please spend time with us, we miss you, please do your best to see us. But you don't see reason and you don't understand them because you are currently living your life and building your harvest for heaven on earth. And my only issue here is I'm not worried about the church, I'm not worried about anything else, but I'm worried about the family you left behind. I hope you guys get me. The family you left behind at home. What about them? What must happen with them? What must be said with them? Okono Fua says the people are the problem to themselves because they don't know God for themselves. They are believing what another human being is telling them. I get that, Okonofa. I get that. But the topic here is, you are in this church. You have decided to live in the church, or you have decided to give your whole time to the church, and your family at home is neglected. Some family members have not seen you in years, in months. Some family members know that when they plan holidays, they must never include you because you are always at church and you will never come. Some family members already know that when it's birthdays, funerals, whatever it is, they must never include you because you will never come. I'm now looking at the other side of it to say, how do you think those family members are feeling? Maybe you are watching me and you are one of those family members who says, my child, my husband, my brother, and my whoever has no time for us because of church. How are you healing from that? Are you getting psychological help? Are you seeing a therapist? How are you healing yourself from that? That's what I'm talking about. Food for thought, guys. We'll chat later. Happy Thursday.